I don't have any strategy for collecting watches, none whatsoever.
Are you a sporty kind of manly dude?
No.
It's all scones and Scrabble for you, isn't it? Simon.
Yes, sir.
We've done some great things together. This is Simon Wolf, the CEO of Wolf, and the last and most recent generation of Wolves to run the business.
That's right, yes. 190 years we are this year, so
yes.
Since 1834.
I haven't known you that long, but I've known you for about a year, and in that time we've done some really cool things.
Yeah, we have.
We did a winder together.
We did,
for about effing time. We've done heaps of inserts for our videos that have been just too much fun.
Had a few laughs.
But we haven't ever talked watches properly. How much of Wolf's business is watch related, for example?
About 50%.
About 50%. So it's a big part of your life. But that doesn't mean that you love it, does it? How do you feel about watches?
I love watches.
Okay.
I absolutely love them. It took me a while to love them. But one day I think it was the mere fact that you can take a watch and throw it across the room, hit a wall, pick it up and it still works. It's magic. I've never done that, but I know I can.
I've seen you do that. Now it makes sense. That's your kink.
They have got this beating heart inside, which is just astounding that it just keeps going.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It really is. So I love watches.
You do love watches, and we have found a novel way to reveal your collection.
Yeah.
Because if you look around, it's the ultimate treasure hunt, isn't it?
I think so.
So how many watches have you hidden in this wall of mystery?
There's 5. I hope we're going to find them, because
Okay.
I would like them back. But yeah, there should be 5. And that celebrates the 5 generations that are part of the Wolf legacy and history and story.
Clever little twist
Like that.
Where should we start?
We start with what we call silver. Why do we call it silver? Well, it's silver. It is actually silver. And it is the commemorative piece for my great-great-grandfather, who in 1834 had a company making beautiful silver products, boxes and what have you. And so this box is in commemoration of him.
The weight of this.
Yeah, it's got some good heft to it. Got a beautiful piano hinge finish. It's got this lovely engine turn finish on the top as well. The family crest of a wolf on the lid of the box. So it's beautifully finished inside with 2 lift-out trays. This section also pulls out, so it becomes just a keepsake box if you don't want to put jewellery, watches, etc. inside.
Well, we do have a watch in there, and I want to take it out. Marcus and I have a story about this watch. Marcus was at the launch of the Cartier Drive in Milan, was it?
Venice. Florence.
In Florence.
Nice.
And you had some times, but that's not what...
I did have some times there.
That's not the story of this watch. Tell me, how did you... Because Cartier is obviously in an endless ascendancy at the moment. They just seem to get bigger and bigger, and yet they're moving away from pieces like this.
Are they? I didn't know that. I'm a watch guy. I love watches, but I don't know what style's coming in or out. I saw this in Mexico City. I think it was when they launched. What was that, 7 years ago, 8 years ago? Maybe
About
9?
that, yeah.
So I saw it. We were exhibiting at a show there, and Cartier was there, and I instantly was drawn to it. The shape of the case, the dial. I just felt like it was a lovely piece that would sit very nicely on my wrist. I mean, all watches should be designed to fit on the wrist, but so many of them actually don't fit that comfortably. This really does. It's a
Super
lovely,
slim. And look,
lovely finish.
You picked up on it, but the feature for me here is that guilloche center dial, which kind of explodes out because it leaves the hour track with the Roman numerals without a dial finish. So you have that highly decorative center dial, and then a small second, the blued hands, all the classic Cartier touches, but again in that slightly larger size, which is definitely swimming against the tide of Cartier watches getting smaller and smaller. But I also love it. I was wearing this today, a little cabochon in the crown.
Yeah, it's lovely little details.
All the Cartier touches, but again, a slightly larger size, wears really comfortably, very, very slim. Great start, Simon.
Yep, I use that as my dress watch mostly.
Excellent.
Yeah, super. With a tuxedo.
So I guess I'm just going to walk in this direction.
Okay, shall I follow?
Well, this could be like warm, hot or something. Do you know,
Well, you're
where's the next?
much warmer. Actually,
Okay.
you're pretty hot.
Okay.
Yes, you are hot.
Oh, thank you. But where's the watch?
Here you go.
Okay.
This
cool.
little guy, this
I
lovely
have a
lady. Yeah, sure, of course.
While I open it, tell me about this trunk.
So
Because it looks a bit like a travel case. Like
Exactly.
That patent-painted, hand-painted side.
very
Have a look at this, Marcus.
very important part of the Wolf story is a woman. So there was first sons, and Philip Wolf II, the son of Philip Wolf I, was a box maker as well. But he retreated from life once something terrible happened in his life, which was 2 of his 5 children died. So he retreated from business, and his wife, Ida Wilhelmina, was left to pick up the reins and run the business. And she was an amazing woman who, for the next 30 years, ran the business and kept it going. So without her, we wouldn't have continued. And this box is in memory of her, because she traveled all over Sweden on trains, carrying trunks and cases that would have looked very much like this piece, with the heavy studding and the reinforced corners. And it's, as I said, it's a commemorative piece to Ida, who was a spectacular woman.
It's a slightly overwhelming experience for me to be hearing a really engaging and quite sad story, and also being completely besotted and overwhelmed by this Hermes piece, which, when you said take the reins, did you purposely make the pun, or because we have a riderless horse and carriage on the dial of this single hand piece?
Yes, yeah, I didn't. I wish I could say I did, but no. That is one of my favorite watches. All my watches are favorite, actually, but that one, because of where I found it, I just found it in a junk shop, sitting in the back. It was dusty. I've had it serviced, so it's in tip-top condition. I've never really taken to single-hand dial watches, because I've never really learned how to tell the time with them. I can now, of course, but it's the simplicity of the dial, the fact that it's Hermes, which, they're not known for their watches. I love the strap on it. The whole thing just worked, and it was a great price, I'm sorry to say. How much was it? Do I have to say?
Yes. How much was it?
I only paid $1,200 for it.
$1,200. And this
US,
is, I was about to
US.
say, this is why you should always look in junk shops, because there is not, obviously you're not going to barn find a vintage Rolex anymore, but you may well barn find a watch like this. This is absolutely stunning. Very beautiful piece. And again, I would say not a slim or dainty piece. I imagine for the era, this would have been quite a large and commanding watch. That's a wonderful piece. And I imagine you chose that because of its tie-in to Ida and travel and Hermes and the romance of travel. Solid start, Simon. And I would say quirky, hard to predict, not getting a theme. Where are we going next?
Oh, you're getting cool. You're getting cool.
You're okay.
You're cool. Come back this way.
Cool.
Come back this way. Here you are.
Okay.
This is a walnut veneered, marquetry inlaid music box with ballerina inside. I need to wind it up to set her going. This is in honor of my...
Can we show the W key?
Yeah, sure. This is in honor of my grandfather. He was a box maker, like everyone who came before him, and he invented this, a music box that has a dancing ballerina inside. So you have 2 different ballet dancers to choose from. You have a nice lift out.
Are these like the stalls?
Exactly. When we designed this, we wanted to make it look like you're in the theatre watching the ballet Swan Lake. So you're listening to Tchaikovsky, and you've got this beautiful backdrop, which would have been exactly what they base the backdrop of the theatre on.
Did you want to give a shout out to any particular person that did the design?
My wife actually did the design of the backdrop.
Nearly missed a big opportunity there.
She would have killed me.
Now, there's something hidden in the center.
Yes, that's right. That's right indeed. There's something there, I think. Let's have a quick look. Ooh.
I was going to say, where's the watch?
There's a watch inside here, and a lovely little swan's feather underneath. So this is I have to say, my most coveted watch, in that my wife gave this to me when we got married. It has a little inscription on the back. It's a vintage Omega, which I love dearly. It's a little bit fragile, and so I take great care with it.
Simon, this...
So I didn't choose that
my
watch. It was
goodness.
given to me.
Yeah, that is beautiful. I hope she doesn't mind you sharing that. 3rd of the 12th, 2010?
Yes. Oh, well, that's my birthday. She gave it to me
I see.
to celebrate our wedding, but on my birthday.
Very, very nice. Simon, you are being very clever at integrating your watches with the era-correct boxes. So they're from about the same period in time?
Yeah. 50s, very, very late 50s, early 60s.
Okay, well, let's put this sleeping Prince back to bed.
Lovely.
And see what's next.
Okay, shuffle your way down a little bit further.
This is, well, actually, I snuck a watch in of my own. Well, try and guess which box I chose.
Well, I don't know. It's very taxing. It's been a long day, so I'm not sure. Maybe this one here?
Yes, indeed. Look, I just wanted to sneak this in. I am wearing the Peter Auto times Baltic collab. There's 300 pieces of this flyback chronograph ever made. It is just so perfectly aligned aesthetically with this box. I know nothing about this box. Tell me about it, because these two belong together.
They do. It looks fabulous inside. The box is in commemoration of my father's contribution to the business. He was Philip Wolfe the fourth. And in the 70s, he designed lots and lots of very groovy boxes. And this one, under the label Design Philippe, got the logo there with a beautiful suede and leather exterior, was very much the aesthetic and the look that he was all about during the 70s. So it's a really, really fabulous box that you could put just about anything in there. Card case goes in there, watches, cufflinks. It's a really, really beautiful
Like business cards
box.
or something?
Yeah, superb. And
Well,
the watch is wonderful.
It is. And that was entirely a plug for my friends at Baltic, who we love very much and distribute in Australia.
Moving right along.
Enough about me. Back to your collection.
Moving right along.
Where are we going? I'm
You're
just
warm already.
aimlessly walking.
You're warm already.
Well,
Now
this-
you're
this
hot.
one was easy.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. You can't miss the watch inside there. So this is the Earth watch winder, which is part of a broader, wider collection. And this is actually my contribution to the collections that we're launching for each of the 5 generations. And this is my Bell & Ross BR0394. Beautiful blue dial. I love the chunkiness of it. I love the aeronautical sense of the design. I love watches with blue dials, the little screw.
When do you wear this one, Simon? Because it's not a diminishing piece. It doesn't hide under the cuff.
No, I wear this a lot, actually. It's a brand new strap. I just got a new strap put on it because I wear it a lot, actually. It's got a nice manly look to it.
And how does it fit your lifestyle? Like, are you a sporty kind of manly dude?
No.
It's all scones and Scrabble for you, isn't it? That's not true. I know that you swim every day.
I do swim in the sea, not every day in the winter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like sports, of course. But
I don't like that answer. No, I'm not. No.
I'm not chasing basketballs or anything like that.
Scrabble.
Don't
was brilliant.
go chasing basketballs. Yeah, I do love that song. Simon,
Yes.
that's a radically diverse collection. If I was to typify, if I was to characterize you in any way, it would be psychopath.
Yeah.
You don't have any consistent theme to your collection. There are vintage pieces, nostalgic pieces, there are super manly pieces. And I feel that the journey, though, is not over. And maybe there could be one last piece that locks it all together. Maybe there is just that single key that's going to make this all make sense. Or not. But
Your words, not mine.
I'm pleased that it's a Rolex, though.
Yeah, well, of course.
So,
one has to have a Rolex, doesn't
But
they?
what's with this vintage box collection here?
Well, these are something very special. My grandfather was the master of box making and marketing and finding new customers. And he developed lots and lots of great new boxes for lots and lots of brands. This one being Rolex, Omega, Zodiac, on and on and on, Tissot. And he, in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, before lots of these brands were swallowed up by the bigger groups, was making these boxes. And I found these in the attic of the old water mill that his son still owns in Sweden. I went over about 6-8 months ago and found these hiding away in the attic of this old mill. And it's just been astounding because each one of these boxes also has on the side of it when it was made and how many were made. I think this one has. No, it doesn't.
This one does.
The Rolex one does, yeah. So you've got 1966, and the item number that was made for Rolex. So these are little time capsules that are so beautiful for me because being a box maker, I can now go back in time. I can see that he made this box for Rolex in the Swedish factory in 1966. Unbelievable. So he was doing really unique things as well because, again, it looks very straightforward to today, but printing on these little puffs on the interior, getting more than one color.
So superbly preserved.
It's beautifully preserved.
Cushion backed.
Yeah, really, really lovely. Innovations. He was about innovating.
Yeah.
Super guy.
This one's a little heavy though, Simon.
Really?
Yeah.
How come, I
Thank
wonder?
you.
Methinks there is perhaps a watch inside.
Tell me about the Speedy. How did this end up in this box? How did this end up in your collection?
The Speedmaster.
I can hear the Speedmaster fraternity cheering.
Is all
He's got a
about
Speedy.
the Rocket watch winder. When we launched the Rocket last year, actually year before, I thought, well, I have to wear a watch to go along with the product launch. And it was the Rocket. And of course, why not the Speedmaster? So I, found that watch and purchased
This has
it.
hardly been worn.
Hardly been worn, yes.
Yeah.
It's barely a year old. So,
So Simon, if we talk about collecting strategies and collecting twists and turns, it is often a case of a milestone of some kind and then finding a way to turn that into a need for a watch, isn't it?
it is, and it's
Because
also...
when you talked me through that, I was momentarily your spouse, just thinking, come on.
He's justifying it with that story? Really?
You've got a rocket winder, so now you need a Speedmaster?
Well, I'm
like,
I'm very
dude,
lucky because
that flew for you?
my whole business is watch care. So
True.
buying watches is very easy for me to do and to justify.
A sapphire Speedy, no less, with that beautiful clear case back. And this, how do you find this watch as in comparison to your other pieces?
It's in the top sort of 10 of my watches in terms of the look, feel, and how it looks on my wrist. I don't have any strategy for collecting watches, none whatsoever. I see a watch.
I think that's clear, to be fair.
I see a watch. I like it because of the way it looks, first and foremost. And it's almost as if I'm not paying attention to the brand that's on it either. So, I mean, I've got some very kooky watches that I didn't bring with me that were, just...
Maybe for another day.
Yeah.
Because this is titillating now. I'm like, what were they and why didn't you bring them?
Yeah.
Simon, I have spent enough time around you to know that the commonality between collecting watches, loving watches, and what you do at Wolf is that attention to details. What is it about the details that make you so obsessed?
Obsessive is a good word for how I am. I'm obsessive about detail, and I want whatever we're doing to be better. And I don't know, there's some insecurity that I have from being a child, I'm sure. I've just got to make it better. So when we look at any of our products, whatever they may be, we're already thinking about how we can just make it, improve it, change a design feature. And so that's what you see on the exterior. And then the interior, much like a watch, for our watch winders, you don't know what's going on inside there. You just know it's going to work. And we've done all sorts of things, like we have a direct drive gearbox now. No one else has those. So we design that ourselves. We assemble everything ourselves. The lock-in cuff, the dynamic cuff, the patterns that we have. These are just things that we've piled on over the years to just make it better. Because for me, I've always got to be better. I don't know.
Well, to be fair, honestly, Simon, as I stand here today, I sit there. These all have an energy to them. And these are the product of an obsessive mind. And these are definitely, you can see I was looking at the drop shadow of one of these painted bits of text, and you can feel that there's multi-generational obsession with these products. So I get that there's a pressure to keep lifting the game.
Yeah.
But I always enjoy talking to you because I think Wolf is that other side of collecting, which is where do the watches go? Where do they live? Can they live in an environment that's as detail driven as the watch itself? And I thank you for showing me around today.
Brilliant. Nice having you here. Thanks.
Good
As
times.
always. Cheers.